Hello everyone, welcome back to Cozy Tea. I am so excited to share with you this New Year's firework animation I made using Procreate Dreams on my iPad Pro. So sit back, relax, get cozy, and I'm going to show you my process as well as a step-by-step tutorial of how I made this work. So I'm choosing this old artwork that I did for this animation, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to auto-select the housing portion of this drawing. I'm going to copy and paste that as a separate layer. Once I've done that, I'm going to color out the whole background, removing the houses from the original drawing. And then I'm going to redraw the tree that was in the original illustration just to clean it up, but keep it within the same art style of the original illustration. Once I reposition the tree, I'm going to go into the hue and saturation menu for the housing layer. You can see here that not only can you change the color saturation and the brightness of the image, but you can actually change the hue of the image to different colors, which is really cool. If you want to have multiple of the same thing in different colors, you don't have to redraw it every time. So the first part, I'm going to go in and I'm going to select all of the windows. This part can be a little nauseating because you have to select each part, and if it's an illustration like this, it's not very straightforward, but I go in and I select as much as I can, and then I copy and paste it into a new layer just to be safe. You don't have to do that. Once it's selected, and then I go in and I change the color to blue because it was originally the same house as the colors. So I'm going to select each one of these roofs. There's this weird glitch where if you accidentally auto-select everything, and then you undo and reselect the portion that you were trying to reselect, it unselects the previous thing you had selected before that. It's just been that way, so just FYI. I changed these to a light orangish yellow color just to give that glow from the fireworks, a really nice shine on the roof. Once that is complete, I'm going to select the actual house part itself, and we're going to change this color as well to a purple. So we've got that complementary yellow and purple, and it looks really nice, and it still stands out from the background, which is this dark blue color. So now I'm going to go into the gallery. I'm going to duplicate the original canvas into a second file, one to back it up, but also because I'm going to be making changes to it, so it's always good to have your original file handy. I'm only going to merge the illustration layers, not the background layer, because we want the foreground, not the background from this illustration. So I'm going to take that layer from Procreate, and we're just going to drag it right into Procreate Dreams. We're going to drop it right in. Easy. Due to different canvas sizes from Procreate and the canvas size that you chose in Dreams, you might have to resize what you have dragged in. So I'm doing that right now, just resizing it so everything fits onto the screen really nicely, and we've got the whole image visible for us viewers. Now we're going to start the animation process. I'm going to eyeball my background color, and then I'm going to add a new track. Next, I choose the color for my firework. I'm going to start off with a yellow color. All right, I'm gonna have to actually watch this while I do it so I know exactly what I did here. I'm gonna start off with my first dot, and you can see I'm struggling just a little bit because I was gonna do multiple at once because that's what I would have to do in regular Procreate, but we in Procreate Dreams now, we don't have to do that. I'm gonna make it easier for myself. We're gonna go into flipbook mode. I'm going to move the flipbook up. We're going to create a second dot that's a little bit bigger than the first one. The third frame, I'm gonna create a small star shape to start creating this explosion pattern for the firework. And in the fourth frame, we're going to expand on that and add a few extra points to make it a little bit more complex. The next frame, I'm going to start separating the explosion and actually making it different lines. So we're starting to create that separation, those explosion pieces. Now, because of gravity, when your firework is exploding upward like this, it doesn't just go straight up into the universe. It actually kind of bows out a little bit. So you want to make sure that you're illustrating that movement in that bow shape. And then also on the bottom, it doesn't just go straight down. It kind of goes out and then down. Word. So that's what I'm going to do here, and I'm just going to create those lines and match them up with the previous frame, so on and so forth until we have the whole firework animation made. This is very easy, very simple. Anybody can do this, and it's super fun. We're going to play it back and see what it looks like here shortly. At Cozy Tea, I might be a bit extra creative. I'm going to add a little fizzy explosion at the end of each one of these lines. I'm going to create a dot and then explode that to add an extra flare. It looks really cool, and it just, that little touch, it just makes it so much more interesting. I'm just going to add those all the way around, and then we're going to play this back here to see what it looks like. And we're going to hit that play button, and it looks good. That extra fizz at the end is just a nice little pop. I think it looks really fun. So to take this one step further, I'm going to go into the third frame, and we're going to increase the, Lord forgive me, the Gaussian blur. I don't know, the Gaussian blur. It adds kind of a little luminous shine. It's not fully transparent, but it adds a glow. I thought it looked good. The next thing I wanted to do was use the light brush on the fourth frame and actually add a glow to the explosion to add an extra flare to that, just to pop it out. And then I'm going to take that into the next couple of frames and taper it off until it goes away. After I did that, I decided to add the light brush to the fizzy dots as well, just to give those an extra punch and an extra presence on the canvas. You can see as I play it back here that adding that light brush at the end really does make those little dots stand out just a little bit more, and it gives it a little bit more character. So that's a fun addition to this animation. To make this process a little bit faster, I had decided that I was just going to duplicate the same frames. So I grouped them together, and then I started duplicating the firework and then moving it around the screen. When you move it around the screen, make sure you turn off content mode, because you can't move something in content mode. Once you turn that off, then you can select it on the screen and you can move it around. And I do this a couple of times and just move it all around the screen, so we've got several fireworks going off at once at different times, and it looks a lot more natural. To enhance the visual experience, I wanted to change the color of some of these fireworks. So a couple things happened here when I was doing this. If you click on the movie icon, you see HSB, that stands for hue, saturation, and brightness, and then I can change the hue of these fireworks. What I didn't realize is if you change the color in the middle of the group, it only changes the color of every frame after that point. So some of these started off being yellow and then transitioning into the new color. I thought that was really cool, even though I didn't intend to do it. Happy accidents, as they're called. So I was excited to see that, and I decided to keep it in the final project. Once I've got all my colors, I go duplicate crazy and I just create a bunch of fireworks so everything's going off at once, and it looks really cool, and you've got a lot of visual flavor to look at throughout the sky. I thought it looked pretty fun. So I'm gonna write Happy New Year on the screen, and I'm just gonna write it with the light brush because we're gonna turn this into a firework as well. What I wanna do is I want to make this look natural, so instead of it just popping up on the screen, I'm gonna have it fade in. To do this, you hit that movie icon, you lower the opacity to 0, then you hit the record button, and then you drag the opacity to 100% or whatever percent you want, and then that's gonna fade into the picture. To finish this up, I'm going to use the light brush and go over those letters to create this glowing effect so that it looks like it's about to explode. And just so it's clean and it doesn't look like the background letters are just popping out, so I did the opposite of what I did before. I hit the record button, I opened the opacity, and instead of increasing it, I decreased it to 0 so the letters would fade away, and then all was left was the glow of the letters from the explosion. Now I'm going to start creating pieces of the explosion so it starts breaking apart, and I'm just going to do that like crazy with the light brush until we get to the end. Now we're going to play it back, and you can see how the Happy New Year fades in, then the glow fades in, and then it explodes, and that's really cool. There's a final firework that I add to this, but of course I forgot to record it, so that's going to be a little surprise for you at the end of the video. Alright, so with all that said, I'm about to show you guys animation. I'm going to play it twice, once for the front, one for the back. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time. I know it's valuable. If you like my content, consider hitting the subscribe button. If you like the video, it gets my video out there to more people, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay cozy, y'all. I will see you next time. Peace.